Now that we established the idea that all these portals are popping up all over the Earth that have access points to whole Earth, I wanted to do this sort of underwater portal that Monarch has cordoned off. So that was the starting point for the Monarch Island base.
In this film, we really wanted to amp up Monarch, give them a real presence. For the Monarch Island base, Monarch has really moved into a palette of very basic primary colors.
We took this very heightened color palette with the yellows and the red, but then we said from a helicopter view, it's this vibrant set. But then you get down closer and it's all chipped paint and mold and it looks lived in. Tom Hammock, the production designer, he really leaned into that, finding a way to make something that seems stylistically heightened feel real. He discovered all these really cool images of these natural formations that create this circular kind of shape around the edge of the ocean. And they just looked really cool anyways, and we're like, well, let's take one of those.
And they built this Monarch based around it.
We start with a real place. In this case, we started in Australia.
We shot these scenes on Morton Island.
Morton Island's a place that's hard to get to. We had to ferry all the crew, we had to ferry all the equipment over there. But for the scene, this coved beach played perfectly for a scene that takes place in Barbados.
The fun thing about giant monsters is coming up with things that are relatable to us, but transposing it on a massive scale.
Kong shows up completely unexpectedly at the Monarch Island base and needs some emergency dental work.
The concept of dental surgery on a Titan, it was like, if we can pull this off, it's so absurd, but it would be so entertaining.
Which leads to a really fun sequence at the Monarch Island base where we introduce this character called Trapper, played by Dan Stevens, who's effectively a Titan veterinarian.
You know, and the only actor I could imagine pulling something that crazy off would be Dan Stevens.
All right, Kong sedation at 100%, vital stable.
The sequence was a really fun sequence to shoot and a fun challenge to figure out how to shoot. We had Dan Stevens suspended on wires and standing on a mock-up of a corner of Kong's mouth.
They did drop me off this sort of giant piece of machinery about 65 feet from the top of the studio down into Kong's mouth, hanging from, you know, 2 bits of string. That had its challenges, but it was great fun.
Yeah, this sucker's ready to come out. All right, let's roll.
The mule driver in that scene was a really challenging actor who was very difficult to direct.
You know what's funny is I've never done any cameos in any of my other movies just because I'm always too busy, and kind of just felt fitting that with Dan's introduction would also be a quick little cameo with me.
Do you have something?
Yes, I've got something. I do have something.
We created different aspects of the Monarch Island base, and we did it all over different parts of Australia. The interiors of the base were all shot on location in Brisbane, and we shot that in a sewage treatment plant because they have all these big pipes and they always look technical. And we were probably the most fortunate I've ever been in my entire life in terms of finding a location. The Monarch barracks, where they're prepping for the mission, was actually a real place in Daintree. It looks like it was built as like part of a Monarch base.
It's a huge, it's like a spaceship. This brutalist architecture, just complete concrete.
And when we came across it, everybody just knew it had to be in the movie.
You feel like going for a ride?
I thought you'd never ask.
We have this Monarch facility, which is on an island, but the peculiarity of this facility is that they are nearby a vortex. The Monarch team is able to open it up and use it to go inside Hollow Earth.
At the Monarch Island base, Bernie gets to go to Hollow Earth, which is something that he's always wanted to do.
Come on, we had a deal.
Bernie, this isn't sightseeing, it's a reconnaissance mission.
So I see how it is. When you need something, it's all, you're so smart, Bernie, you're so capable, Bernie. Then when I deliver it, you toss me aside. Look, you owe me, okay? I helped crack this thing.
Our journey in Hollow Earth starts exactly there on a tarmac, where we take the new redesigned Heave 2.0 and leave and go inside the vortex.
You know, being on the Heave is definitely fun for 5 minutes, and then you feel a little nauseous, then you're fine again.
I mean, it's like getting on that roller coaster that's opening for the first day, right? And you get the front seat.
We are going to Hollow Earth. So is there like an in-flight briefing that I should know about? You know?
Yeah, there is. There's no parachutes, no flotation devices. You touch any of this stuff, you lose your hand, and if you die, make sure it's outside my vehicle.
Good briefing.